Hey everybody, Christian Caple here again from onmontlake.com. It's that time of year again.
The season has kicked off. What a great time of year.
Monday was Jedd Fisch's first in-season Monday press conference of the year. It's how you know the season is just about here. I'm going to take you behind the scenes a little bit before we get to some of Jedd Fisch's remarks. And while we've been in this room a couple times since they've updated it, I did want to show you a little bit behind the scenes here. That carpet you saw in the tunnel was brand new. I can't remember the last time they changed it out. It was a little bit overdue. This room that we gather in for these press conferences is a team meeting room that's been renovated since Jedd Fisch's arrival. All of this carpet, all of the player murals on the walls, all of the branding, all of the chairs, it's all brand new. This space is pretty much unrecognizable from what it was before. One of many areas of Washington's football facilities that have been updated since Jedd Fisch came to the University of Washington. Here's my view from my seat. There's Jedd Fisch walking in. Once the head coach took the podium on Monday, the big news was that freshman receiver Raiden Vines-Bright will get the start in the slot against Colorado State. He'd been listed with an OR tag along with senior Penn State transfer Omari Evans. If you watched my depth chart breakdown, you know I was expecting Raiden Vines-Bright to win that job, and it sounds like he did.
I think that he deserves it based on how he practiced, how he prepared, the plays that he made when the opportunity presented itself. We all saw the plays he made in the spring game when the opportunity presented itself. We saw the plays he made in the scrimmage when the opportunity presented itself. And as practices have continued, he's continued to show up. So we've got some young freshmen that are making plays. And Roebuck and Raiden are both going to be playing, out there on Saturday night.
Another true freshman, John Mills, was listed with the OR tag alongside Pocky Finau, a redshirt freshman. Those two had been battling it out at left guard. And while Jedd Fisch didn't quite commit to starting Mills at left guard, which is kind of what everybody's projecting at this point, his comments about his history of playing freshman offensive linemen seem to suggest that John Mills is about to become the next one.
When we were at Arizona, we started Jonah Savanea as a true freshman. In his first game, he went on to be a second-round pick after 3 years of college football. We started Wendell Moy as a true freshman. He's now playing as a starter at Tennessee this year, transferred over to Tennessee. So we've done that a couple times there. I certainly think John Mills is ready to go. So excited to see that, excited to see him. Pocky has done a great job of continuing to compete. I think we have a couple days left. We're in pads 2 more days, and we'll let them just keep on battling. We'll see both guys in the game, regardless of who starts.
Fisch also gave some injury updates on guys like Javon Parker, linebackers Jacob Manu and Zadarius Rainey-Saleh, saying that all 3 of those guys probably aren't going to be cleared by the season opener. It's still on the table that Manu might redshirt. He also discussed how Damon Williams Jr., Washington's starting quarterback, has progressed since the end of last season.
He was only a freshman, so football knowledge is going to always be the number one point of emphasis. The development of the brain of a football player, the development of the brain of a quarterback can never not be the number one thing, and can never be diminished. We really have spent a ton of time with D, just talking to him about coverages, talking to him about audibles, talking to him about, seeing the big picture, making decisions of when to throw the ball away versus taking a sack, when you're out of the pocket, when to say when. And when you have the type of skill that a guy like Damon has, it's a very hard decision to know, should I hang in there a little bit longer and use my feet, or should I just throw it away and live another down and see what it looks like? So we've tried the best we can, give him those live opportunities to see and feel that, and then let him just continue to own this offense. And the more ownership he has, the better he'll play.
And I thought this was interesting. At the very end, Fisch was asked if he would ever consider giving up play caller duties, considering that he's called offensive plays ever since he got his first head coaching job at Arizona 4 years ago.
I kind of look at it as like, for 13 years, I've called plays. So, that's like 13,000 plays. Plus, you start talking about every play you call in practice. It's just hard to say, like, I want to give that to somebody else because you learn by experience. So, you learn by bad calls and good calls, and you learn by, situations of how do you want to manage certain opportunities and how would you do it a certain way. And I mean, I think other than when I was from '09 on, I've been calling the game almost every year except for the time, at the Rams and the Pats for those 3 years. So, you're calling it constantly. So you kind of are always thinking about things. And to get somebody to come in here that's going to think the same way, when it's 3rd down and 4 and you're on the 38-yard line, are they thinking that we got to convert it, or they think we have 2 downs to get it? And, there's just so much thinking that goes into it that right now, no. But I guess you never say never, but pretty close to never, I think.
Other than maybe Vines-Bright and maybe John Mills and Pocky Finau still being listed with an or, there really weren't any surprises on Washington's first depth chart of the season. At least among the starters, for the most part, it was reflective of what we saw during training camp. There were a couple items in the 2 deeps and 3 deeps that made you raise your eyebrow a little bit. Freshman safety Ryland Dillard-Allen isn't included in the 2 deeps. I tend to think he's probably going to play a little bit. Zach Durfee and Isaiah Ward, both edge rushers, were listed with an or tag at 1 edge rusher spot. I tend to think Zach Durfee is probably going to be your starter and be the guy who plays the most snaps at that position, so long as he's healthy. Decker DeGraff and Quentin Moore are listed with an or at tight end. I kind of think DeGraff will end up being the guy who plays the most snaps, but Quentin Moore is a veteran. He is their best blocker. This coaching staff was pretty high on him before he got hurt last year, so I think it makes sense to put an or between those guys as well. In addition to Vines-Bright and Mills, true freshman receiver Desmond Roebuck is on the 2 deep at an outside receiver spot behind Rashid Williams. True freshman offensive lineman Champ Talea, as everybody expected, is listed as the backup right guard. True freshman Dylan Robinson Jr. is listed as the backup at cornerback, as you might have guessed if you watched fall camp. And Devin Hyde, the freshman edge rusher from Menlo Atherton, California, is listed in the 3 deep at edge. Looks like he's probably going to play a little bit too. For more from Jedd Fisch's press conference, you can head on over to my website onmontlake.com and read about it. Danny O'Neill and I will talk to you in a couple days on this week's episode of Say Who, Say Pod. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel, like, leave a comment, click that little notification bell so you don't miss a video, and I'll talk to you soon.